Enter a world of unicorns, magic swamps, dwarves, and rainbows.
Woo! On this episode of the History of the Chorus podcast with Curtis and Josh, we take a look at the Michael Keane-centered band known as the Faceless. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at IsSurvivedByPro for news and latest episode postings. And make sure to subscribe to the show. Leave us a 5-star review and write us a comment on YouTube or whatever podcast service you're using. And if you'd like to see us do some live streams, leave us a comment or tweet us the keyword stream. Now, without further ado, let's start the show.
The devil is in Atlanta. Army surrounded.
Disregarding justice, corrupting minds of the innocent, society bows to the throne, unaware of what the siren beholds. Fools suffer. Bringer of night, bringer of day, bringer of hate, bringer of doom.
Doom! Well, welcome back to the History of the Chorus podcast. Much about Church of Seven Track, where each and every episode we're taking a look at a band from the core genre. I'm Curtis, and with me as always is this guy out in outer space. His name is Josh. Welcome to Earth.
Curtis, we're back, baby.
Hey, we're back!
Hey!
That's it. No, come on, man. Stop it.
Come on,
Stop
come
it.
on,
You're being a little more. Bring it a
come
little more.
on.
All right. Oh,
All
yeah.
right, shut up.
Okay.
That's enough of
All
that.
right. Well, that's enough of that. What's going on, man?
Not much, buddy. Not much.
Oh,
Hey, how you doing over there?
man. I'm trying to figure this all out.
Making it work?
Try to figure out what happened to some stuff. Not really sure. I may have lost something. Maybe not. Maybe I did. No, never mind. We're good.
All right.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. We're doing good, Josh. We're doing good. Yeah. So, how about you? You doing all right, man? You
Oh,
doing good?
fantastic. Just
Doing
fantastic.
good? Doing fantastic over there. Wait a minute. What is that? What
Oh,
is
that
that?
sound, Curtis,
Whoa!
means it's
Whoa!
a
Wait a minute!
Coheed
Whoa!
quarter.
Oh, shoot! Oh man! Oh man! Okay.
All right. All right.
Oh man!
It's out of control. Okay. We got to talk about, we teased it a little bit last episode, but we got to talk about the new Coheed track that was released because, as you know, I'm watching this very closely in anticipation of receiving my box bundle for Vaxis 3 coming in just a little over a month, Curtis.
It's like a weatherman. We're
This,
monitoring the situation.
I'm watching the situation out there.
Watching the situation out here. Okay, we're gonna make sure everybody's gonna be okay. Yeah.
Have you gotten to listen to the new track yet? Somebody Who Can.
Yes, but it was too long ago now to
Oh, good.
remember. Yeah, it was too long ago. And I'm kind of in a spot where I can't really listen to it right this second because
Okay.
I have other things, if you know what I'm saying, Josh.
Good stuff. Okay. Well,
You tell me about it. I mean, I liked it. I have no problem with any of the songs that have been released yet. So I'm like you, I'm still kind of curious how Blindside Bunny's gonna fit on the album with the songs
right.
around it, just because it's different from what we're used to with Coheed and Cambria. But but yes, so far I've enjoyed all three of the songs. Um, March can't get here quick enough.
Searching for Tomorrow feels like the front runner right now.
Okay.
That one feels like a Coheed song. That one feels like I could see it on,
Like an earlier
not
album.
necessarily on, but in the same ring as like stuff for like No World for Tomorrow.
Okay.
Um, and I'm glad that they're continuing with the consistent sound through these Vaxis albums because that's
Right.
gonna, in the end, when we go back and listen to all of these albums, that's what's gonna make it feel like a cohesive story,
Yes.
like the first saga was, you know? Um, but somebody who can, I've seen a lot of people saying, they really like the feel of it. It'd be a great summertime song. How cruel it is that they released this track as a single in the winter.
Right.
But I've also seen a lot of people saying that they're a little concerned about the sound of this song and how close it is to the end of the album.
Right.
Um, I would almost think of this song as kind of an anchor song going into this last saga on the album. Um, Dang, I forgot. Did we figure out what
I thought we
the
did. That's why I was just
saga
about to
was going to be
look.
called?
Yeah, that's what I was just about to look at. Um, let's see. Do. Oh, no, no, no. Not unless you'd seen something online, because on Spotify, it just has the tracks that haven't been released, just like track one, track two, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, let me check real
I
fast.
mean, I can look real quick here. Well, I'll race you to it. Um, it's funny you said about
The Continuum.
the continuum. Okay.
So I've seen a lot of people saying that they're
There it
concerned
is.
about the continuum because this is the song that precedes it. This is going to lead you into the continuum. Um, and a lot of people worry that it's just a little too light, you know? But I also saw a lot of rebuttals to that, that were, the Willing Well being one of the stronger, if not the strongest, of these little cycles that come one per album. Mother May I being the song that kind of led you into that, which is also a song that kind of slows down, takes everything back a ways. It's kind of a very like almost bluesy kind of sounding song.
But do you think
Um,
it almost kind of like would put you into like a false sense of like comfort just to like grab you and shake you? I'm not talking about Mother Ray. I'm just saying like this position of this song going into the continuum set.
right. Yeah. And I'm so interested in the continuum. Um, we talked about I guess you could say the sub, track names for
Right.
each of them. Welcome to Forever, Mr. Nobody. Two is the flood. Three is tethered together. Four is so it goes. And I told you, so it goes being the end of that is so ominous to me.
Right.
It feels like it's going to end in some death.
Well,
Or
you
maybe it
gotta.
ends with Vaxis, going back through the fence.
Right.
Um, yeah, who knows? I mean, I'll be able to fill in a lot of these gaps for us whenever I get the box because I'll have the book and everything to go along with it. So this will be our first source material actually in my hands to go through. We don't have to speculate everything.
It's in my hands. I can feel it.
It's real as I have my
It's,
helmet on.
it's, oh, jeez.
It's gonna be
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, that won't look weird at all.
I'm so stoked.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not worried about it, man.
No, 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 no. I have no concerns at all.
Yeah,
about,
even
Coheed
Blindside Sunny,
disappointing.
dude, I'm not concerned. I'm not concerned with this album. I have been so impressed with
That
Unheavenly
sounded like you're trying to
Creatures.
convince yourself when you said that. I'm
No,
not concerned. No, I'm
and
not concerned. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be great.
no, but a lot of people are,
No, I
and I'm
understand.
I'm just
Yeah.
saying I'm not one of those people. When it was Blindside Sunny on its own, it was hard to say what the rest of the album was going to sound like, but we should have known that they were going to go for a similar theme to the other two Vaxis albums. So,
Right. Yeah, I agree. I was gonna say earlier, I didn't really think about it until you said it just a bit ago. Coheed feels like a summer band.
oh yeah.
Yeah, I never really thought of that before.
Oh yeah, that's windows down, singing as loud as you can.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm so hung up on Mother May I right now because I've got it playing.
wish I could hear
All right, Curtis, play
it.
us out.
I didn't know I was supposed to play. So, hold on, wait a minute. Air operator.
All right, Curtis, play us out.
One more time. Hold on a second. Now here we go and play us out. All right. Yeah. All right. Until next time.
Perfect.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Um. All right, Josh. Let's Coheed. We're less than 2 months away, right? About
Yep.
2 months away. Yeah, less than 2 months away.
Well, it's
I'm trying
it's
to remember
just a
when it
little
was
over a
exactly.
month. Yeah, it's like
Okay.
March 12th or 13th, something like that.
Okay. Nice. Can't wait. We'll have a full episode checking out that entire album and the source material. That will be in Josh's two hands with his dirty fingers all over
March
it.
14th.
March 14th. So get ready for that. But in the
I'll be here.
meantime, I'll be here. I'm not moving anywhere till I get that stuff. In the meantime, Josh, we've got a brand new band to talk about in today's episode. That's right. We're talking about the band known as The
The
Faceless. The
Faceless.
Faceless. Categorized in the genres of deathcore, technical death metal, and progressive metal. All right, Josh. You've mentioned this band several times on previous episodes. You've mentioned Michael Keane several times on previous episodes before. Without just like overall, taking my job of describing everything that happens in this band, just kind of give me like a little bit of a quick synopsis of what we're dealing with here with the Faceless and Michael Keane and his demons, basically.
I didn't even really know. I think a lot of people didn't really know that there was anything going on until probably
Pretty recent,
around,
right?
no, I would say around Autotheus
Okay,
is when
well, yeah.
rumors started to come up. People were like leaving the band and stuff, and you're wondering why there's so much turnover.
Yeah.
Um, but they come around 2006, I think 2006, 2007. Um, I was aware of their first album, so I got into them kind of on the ground floor. Was really drawn to their black metal ish kind of dabbling, you know.
Yeah.
Uh, and Michael Keane, to me at the time, especially, I was like, man, this guy's like a genius. Like he writes pretty much all of this himself, you know.
Produces
Um,
all their albums,
yeah, like
everything.
this guy is something. He turned out to be something, a real piece of shit.
Oh, he was something.
But I, I can't say, but there was always a lot of talk of how hard he was to work with, addiction problems that people said, that he had. So
Oh, he's come out and
I,
said he had it.
okay, I didn't know if he had ever
Yeah.
like
Oh yeah.
fessed.
Oh yeah. He's come out. I don't know, maybe not said exactly heroin or anything like that. By the way, I don't have okay, I was just about to say I don't have that background still up, do I? I just
I
realized, I
used
was like,
to
I better not.
I used to have a thing that was like it was like tries heroin once, and then it was the cover of Ghost.
Nice.
Just like, oh yep.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Alrighty,
But
yeah, well,
they had their moments. I mean, I wouldn't say they were like really big with a lot of people I knew. I knew people who were really into them, but I mean, I'll tell you, dude, I when I saw them, I've seen them twice.
okay, that was my next question.
Yeah, I've seen them twice, and the first time was with Flesh God Apocalypse. So, and that there weren't like a ton of people at that show. Like there's a good number, but it wasn't like, oh man, there's a lot of people here. Because there's been some shows, dude, where like I turn around and I'm like, holy
Oh,
fuck. Like how did that happen? I didn't see this
right,
many people like outside.
right.
Uh and then the second time I saw them was with Job for a Cowboy. That time was
Nice.
kind of disappointing because
Oh,
they
okay.
only played 4 songs
Wait, when was this?
during Planetary Duality.
Weird. Did you only
Yeah,
play 4 songs?
only played 4 songs. Didn't give a reason. That was it.
Okay. Well, I'll be honest with you, Josh. In later years here, there's been at least one time where they kind of did the same thing. So, makes me wonder. Yeah,
They're just
anyway.
like, we're done.
Yeah,
Fuck you
yeah.
guys.
That's weird. Hmm. Do you remember, like, did they just like walk off or were they like, all right, thanks. Have a good night?
It seemed like the end. Like that seemed like the end of their set. Like the way they planned it.
Hmm. Okay. Very strange. Who knows?
I don't remember any reason being given.
Hmm. Okay.
I do remember Johnny Davy from
Job for a cowboy.
Job for a Cowboy though, wearing that leather jacket the whole time they played, and I've never seen a sweatier man.
Ugh.
I've only seen a
Yeah.
lead singer wear a leather jacket twice playing an entire set, and that was Cancer Bats and Job for a Cowboy.
Oh yeah.
So
Cancer bats. Nice. All right, Josh, let's dive on into this mess of a band, shall we?
we shall.
Formed in 2004 in Encino, California by Michael Keane on guitar and bassist Brandon Giffen, while adding guitarist Stephen Jones and Michael Shearer on keys soon after. The band would cycle through several vocalists and drummers early on before settling on Derek Rydquist and drummer Brett Bardorf, excuse me. Fun fact for you, Josh. Not really fun, but it's just a fact for you. The very first drummer for the Faceless was Zach Graham, who doesn't matter, who would also perform clean vocals, but he would quickly depart the band, leading to the first of many times Michael Keane would say, at least in my head, "Fine, I don't need you. I can play guitar and sing clean vocals."
Yep,
It's gonna be a repeating thing, so watch out for that.
that sounds right.
The sextet would record a 3-song demo in 2006 entitled The Nightmare Fest Demos, featuring songs that would appear on their first full-length album. The demo would catch the ear of Sumerian Records, who signed the band to a contract soon after. What?
I said Sumerian.
Sumerian.
Sumerian there, hon.
Uh, during the recording of their debut album, though, drummer Brett Bardorf would leave the band, being replaced by Nick Pierce, who would also contribute drums on their debut album 2006, Akeldama. Is that how you say it? Akeldama? Is that I'm saying that right?
Yeah, I
Akeldama.
think so. Akeldama. That's how I've
From
always said it.
Sumerian Records, produced by Michael Keane. He can do everything. This is the only album for keyboardist Michael Shearer and drummer Nick Pierce. Did you know, Josh, that the title of the album is Aramaic, translating to Field of Blood? Blood.
Uh,
It's so gnarly. Known
Into the void, into the void.
Oh, jeez. Known for its straight up
We'll
deathcore
get there.
sound that the band would depart from on future releases. Boo.
Boo.
Boo. Never change. Stay the same. Stay stagnant. Never get better. Never get worse. Just stay the same.
I mean, the
The-
music remains amazing through the whole thing,
oh,
but
yeah, yeah.
the message
Other
and
things.
the lyric and the vocals just get so terrible.
Not good. The drums would be recorded by four different drummers, Josh, former member Brett Bardor before he left, current member Nick Pierce when he joined, Naveen Copperweiss of Inthros and formerly of Animals as leaders, and Andy Taylor. Did all right. SputnikMusic.com user Cascade wrote a review on the band's debut album stating, quote, Akeldama is a very interesting album that provides the listener with the very off-the-wall experience of deathcore. In hindsight of what other bands were producing during this time, the Faceless decided to take an avant-garde approach when working on this album. Because, Josh, it's art, and you just don't understand. This album implements unique execution of riffing and breakdowns along with diverse time signatures to make each song exciting to listen to. This album combines a deathcore sound along with jazz and orchestral elements to really give variety to each song. Listening to this album, I personally thought that some elements, such as the vocoder, are reminiscent of bands such as Cynic, but I didn't let that thought hinder my listening experience. Michael King, guitar and vocals, did a remarkable job producing this album. He is also famous for helping produce for other Sumerian artists such as Born of Osiris and Veil of Maya. Musical aspects of the album are solid and very well executed in every song. The vocals from Derek Rydquist are very brutal and aren't overpowering. There are also parts with clean vocals from Michael Keane that are in songs like Pestilence that are very surprising and out of the ordinary, when you expect to hear screaming for the entirety of the album. Compared to how other bands use bass in songs, I was expecting for bassist Brandon Giffen to take a backseat in this case, but surprisingly, the bass is very prominent and groovy. There are also some solo parts that give a nice texture to some songs like All Dark Graves. The drums from Nick Pierce to some might be generic blasting, but being a drummer myself, I take into account how good the technique and progression of drums blended in with the music, and I have to say, it wasn't disappointing in the slightest. Last but not least, we have guitars from Michael Keane and Steve Jones, who did an absolutely phenomenal job on this album. Both provide very slick groove rhythm to every song and metaphorically takes the wheel of this album. They bite pretty well. As far as other musical aspects, there are synth and other piano parts that are included. Some say that the synth ruined parts, but in my opinion, the composition isn't too over the top or in your face. It blends pretty well, actually. All in all, Akeldama is a very solid album that never gets boring to listen to. This album has 8 songs and clocks in at 33 minutes and 18 seconds, which isn't too long or too short. Some of my favorite songs I would recommend would be Horizons of Chaos 1 and 2, Laika, and the title track Akeldama, which is a great addition to the album considering it is an instrumental piece. If you are a metal fan who wants to explore something different, this album would definitely be one worth a listen. Songs on this album include Josh and Odd Topsy, Pestilence featuring Michael Keane's mom, Tara Keane, All Dark Graves, Horizons of Chaos 1, Oracle of the Onslaught, Horizons of Chaos 2, Hypocrisy, Laika, Akeldama, and the finale, The Ghost of a Stranger. Very solid first record, Josh, if I say so myself.
Is this your first time listening to this one all the way through?
This is the first time listening to, well, yes, listening to full length albums. There was a couple episodes back, maybe a couple of months ago. You and I were talking Faceless, and I listened to, I think, a song off of this and Planetary Duality. I don't remember what song off of here, but I remember Planetary was Xenochrist, I believe. But
Okay.
listening to full-length albums, this is the first time I'm listening to Faceless.
Okay.
Um, but I really do enjoy this one and Planetary Duality.
Okay.
And then yeah, and then the other two come out and I just
Eh.
shrug my shoulders.
Yeah.
And we'll get there. We'll get there. But and you know me, I'm not the biggest deathcore fan, but I find it nice too that, and not saying that deathcore albums are long, but I find it interesting that both this one and even Planetary Duality are like low 30s minute
Mm-hmm.
wise, which is very, very interesting. Um, I would have thought they would have been longer, but then like listening to it, it's like just goes right through, man. And it smoothly goes through. It's not a lot of like choppiness to it, I feel like. Um, but yeah, musically great. Derek is a great vocalist, man. It sucks that, no offense to the other two vocalists that come in on the last two albums, they do Uncleans, but it sucks that, he wasn't around for the entire thing because I feel like he's a big piece of the Faceless, even though you might think more of Michael Keane when you think of the Faceless. But um, real quick, last thing
Yeah.
I wanted to say was, oh no, last two things I wanted to say. Clean vocals. Obviously, by the time we get to Ghost, it's more, I would almost say 50-50 cleans and uncleans. Um, Maybe a little slight variation there. But anyway, I liked how there is cleans on his vocals, very little, but when he does them, they're placed very well. Whereas I get tired of hearing his clean vocals on the last couple of albums.
Oh yeah.
So, I like that on this one and even the next one. But
It's the
I'm,
composition in this one, man. Like where he
yes,
decides to put those in, they're like perfect places that it gives it more of like a black metal-y feel than
yeah,
like a butt rock feel, you know?
a butt rock,
Yeah.
butt rock,
Yeah. Dad rock, butt rock.
dad rock. The last thing I wanted to say was I'm kind of torn on the use of the vocoder. On this album, don't like it. I don't know why. I think it's just like the way he used it on this one. I don't know. But then he uses it again on Planetary Duality, right? Am I thinking of that
Yeah.
right? I don't remember which song off the top of my head, but I for some reason I liked it better
Xenochrist.
on, is it Xenochrist?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because at the end it was like
That's right. Yeah,
Xenochrist.
yeah, yeah. See, I like it when he used
Um,
it better that way, but when he's just like talking in Akeldama, the song, it's like, yeah, God.
I can't remember that part right off the top of my head from this
Well,
album. I
you
always
can't
thought that
remember
was
it? You
I thought
cannot
that
remember it?
I thought that started in Planetary Duality.
No. Go to the Akeldama song. Akeldama. Whatever. Go to the Field of Blood song. There you
Oh yeah,
go.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Because
The
I thought
fears
you
of
were,
mortality forgotten.
yeah, but you were doing it earlier, I thought.
No longer living for death, no longer
Right.
dying to live.
Well, I was like,
Existence and non-existence coagulating.
please start the music. I
Yeah,
can't
no,
listen to this.
I remember not thinking really anything felt cheesy about this album because it's all done. We've talked about this with other bands. There's certain things you can do that if you do them just a little too much, it becomes this super cheesy, lame thing. But you can sprinkle in some questionable things every
Right.
now and
And get away
again.
with it. Yeah.
Yeah, and get away with it because it's a one shot, you know?
So what you're saying
And
is he shouldn't do a vocoder on the entire album.
no,
God, that would be
but
terrible.
I don't mind it that it was just on like the beginning of that track, you know, even though it
Yeah.
is like kind of a long thing. Um, because it's the only time he gets done in this one, and then the only clean vocals we have are in,
It's Pestilence?
yeah, I think just Pestilence,
Yeah.
and that's like him and his mom.
Yeah. Kind of like a duet harmony.
Yeah, what did you think about what did you think about Pestilence?
What do you mean? Like
Just the
overall?
Yeah, the whole song in general, the way it carries itself, the main guitar riff, that
I mean, I good. I think it's again, it just like it's goes back to what you're saying about like him as a musician, being able to write all this stuff yourself and just like it's really good, man, you know?
I
It's
really
very catchy
like
too. But
the
like I said
bit in
too,
the
with like even
middle.
those like the clean vocals, the way he just like it's not even just like really a chorus, it just kind of like slips in there real quick and it's well placed. You
Mhm.
know, it's not forced. But go ahead.
The
The part in the
synth like
middle.
during that part too is like so creepy sounding. Like it's very like dark cartoony, I feel like.
Right. When he's singing.
Well, during that portion, it's the whole thing. It's the guitars during that part, it's the
Oh,
synth,
okay.
it's their two harmonies.
Yeah. 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 I was trying to think because it did make me think of something when all
Well,
that's
and then
going on, but I can't really put a
he's
finger on it
also
exactly.
laid over like unclean vocals during that part too. So there's three different vocal parts happening,
Okay.
then synth, and
Mhm.
then also the guitars.
The guitar part.
So yeah, just really creepy and kind of cartoony feeling.
I think my problem with the vocoder, though, is it's the difference between singing on Xenochrist, not really singing, but I guess more like singing, screaming type thing or whatever, compared to I'm just speaking in a into this thing and saying spoken word. What was it again? Say it again.
What?
The lines. I was trying to think what the lines that
I was
he
like, did you want me to
made.
say what I was saying before we started
No.
recording, or
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. What were you saying before we record? We said a lot before we started recording.
someday robots will suck us off,
There you go.
and the faceless will have to say, "We told you
We told
so."
you so. To live in
Oh my
true
God.
freedom is to release all inhibitions. The fears of mortality must be forgotten. No longer living for death, no longer for living for dying. Yeah.
Existence and non-existence coagulating.
Shackling human individuality. Beautiful.
How'd you feel about Horizons of Chaos? Like the highest points in this album for me are Pestilence and both Horizons of Chaos.
Well,
Everything else is really good. Ghost of a Stranger has some parts that are just like slam, dude, just so brutal. But Horizons of Chaos too, dude.
I'll tell you what they aren't, Josh. It's no Coheed saga. That's for sure.
No. But how two
Saga
just
battle.
starts with those gravity beats.
Yeah.
Like,
Mm.
ugh.
You know, and dude, that's the other weird thing too is like listening to it, the drums on this
Or I guess it
album,
goes from blast beats into gravity beats.
the drums on this album, you know, you got four guys recording over 8 songs. Doesn't even sound like four different people to me, really.
No,
I mean, and I think that's a testament to Michael Keane's production too, to get it all to sound the same, which would be very hard if you got four different guys,
I would
you know.
imagine he's probably written the drum part though too. So no one's
True.
interpreting. Everyone's playing
True.
what's on the paper.
Right. What was that ghost note I heard? Don't ever play that ghost note. I did not
Yeah.
write that down.
That was interesting, man. That was interesting. Don't ever do that
Don't ever do that
again.
again.
Never. You read the paper and play what's on the paper, my man.
Oh man. No, Horizons of Chaos is good, man. Those are some good ones. This whole album, dude, just hits so good. And I think all of it just comes together. It's not one thing overshadowing another, you know, not one person or another, you know what I mean?
I So I'm not obviously as versed in drums as you are, but I did play I did play for a
I
while.
am.
And well, you're better than I am. Um I did play for a while, and it is rare though that I hear a drum line that I'm like, "Oh, like that's dirty."
Oh, I
You
hear
know,
it a lot.
because yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you probably hear it more than I do.
Oh,
But a couple that I can think of like right off the top of my head that I would put like in the same area. The From Horizons of Chaos, how it starts with the blast into the gravities, and then halfway through the song with the quote we had from the beginning of the episode. Right after that, just right back into the blast, that same line, and then right back into the gravities again. Like just oh, so brutal, so brutal. Um,
Blast gravity,
and
blast
then
gravity, blast, blast, blast.
also it's Suicide Silence, and this is with Mitch Luker.
Mhm.
It was off of Black Crown, and I want to say it was, yeah, it was off of Slaves to Substance. And the song starts like with some pretty intense drums, and then
Oh, studying, processing, processing,
no, maybe not,
processing.
maybe not.
Nope. Well, that didn't work out so well for you, did it?
Man, I'll figure this out before we get done, but I know it's on that album. There is just like a ridiculous drum line.
Yeah.
I was also gonna throw 12 gauge in there too. Their song, I believe it's Danger to Lurking. It's Danger Lurking or Dive Bomb, but it has a, oh, it's Dive Bomb. Yeah, it has a drum break like towards the end that is like it starts as like a drum solo and then just like kind of continues into like a breakdown, but it's like just more elements of the drum breakdown. Like it just keeps like kind of cycling through
Okay.
there.
Okay. Okay. Nice. I'll check those out. You got anything else for Ekodama, Josh?
No, I would just say this is probably entry point because this is one of those bands that they have their shit together, relatively speaking,
Yeah.
production wise.
It does not
They're
feel
already
like, yeah, it does not feel like a first album.
right, they're
It's
already
like a second or third.
amazing musicians, you know. So this isn't like, oh, this is a rough first album.
Right.
But
We know rough first albums.
if I was trying to get somebody into the Faceless, I would probably give them Planetary Duality. Even though I think you can start here and be fine, because Planetary Duality just has like more hooks, I feel like. Like this is more of like a straight like deathcore um doom metal version on kind of black metal-y sound. But Planetary Duality uses, I feel like, a few more hooks. There's some sound clips. We're using more of the vocoder. So that's probably one that I would put in somebody's hands. Because, Curtis, did you
Okay.
know that they're not doing anything? That they want the major population centers wiped out.
Oh, man. How many times has that been used?
They're not
A
doing
lot.
anything.
There's a lot in this world. Soon after the release of their debut album, keyboardist Michael Shear would depart the band, leaving Michael Keane to once again say, "Fine, we don't need you. I'll do the guitar, clean vocals, and keys myself."
It'll leave Michael Keane once again as the only Michael.
Uh, Now we're down to one Michael. Nick Pierce, there can only be one Michael. Nick
In a
Pierce,
series, in a series we're calling A Boy Named Michael.
a boy named Michael. Nick Pierce would eventually be replaced by new drummer Lyle Cooper after cycling through several touring fill-ins. Speaking of touring, Josh, the band would tour extensively in support of their debut album, playing alongside bands such as Necrophagist, Decapitated, Nile, and the Black Dahlia Murder. While on the road, the band would begin writing new music, which would show up on their sophomore release, 2008's Planet, I'm trying to mess you up with your
Planetary
background.
Duality.
Planetary Duality from Sumerian Records, produced once again by a boy named Michael Keane. Na, na, na. This is the last
A
album
boy named
for
Michael.
This is the last album for vocalist Derek Rydquist, guitarist Steve Jones, and bassist Brandon Giffen. Here we go, Josh. It's happening.
Here
It's
we go.
beginning. This album placed at number 119 on the Billboard 200, selling 5,600 copies in its first week of sales. The album follows the story of an extraterrestrial and extra-dimensional race controlling the world and is loosely inspired by the book The Children of the Matrix by David Icke. AllMusic.com writer, oh, he's got something to say. Hold the phone.
Curtis, I think you mean uh uh extra dimensional beings that an earlier
Oh,
precursor
oh
of the
God.
space program made contact with. They are not what they claim to be.
Yeah, basically.
There are a lot
Uh,
of safe areas in this world that they
be
could be moving people
repopulating,
to.
but they don't want to.
I can do the whole thing. I've
Oh,
heard that
oh
song a
yeah. Oh
billion
yeah.
times.
AllMusic.com writer Paula Carino wrote a very brief review on the album saying, quote, duality is the operative word on this second release by technical death metal band The Faceless. The band sets up a spine-tingling tension between instrumental prowess, the ancient covenant, and sheer brutality of coldly calculated design. And when the band fires all guns, pew pew, the result is a complex and challenging listen that doesn't stint on chaotic mayhem. Songs on this album include Prison Born, Ancient Covenant, Shape Shifters, Coldly Calculated, Design, Xenochrist, Sons of Belial, Legion of the Serpent, Planetary Duality 1, Hideous Revelation, Planetary Duality 2, A Prophecy's Fruition. Planetary duality, Josh. Tell us the secrets. What are they hiding from us, Josh?
Um, I wore this CD out when it
So
came
many
out.
scratches.
I listened to this CD so much because I really liked The Faceless, and it was disappointing that that was the only album they had out, Akaldema. So when Planetary Duality came out, I
And
remember
more.
being so stoked. And then Prison Born, dude, is the first track on there. It's so brutal. It's just so hard hitting all the way through the song, never slows down. Um, I can play a good chunk of Prison Born, like from the
Okay.
beginning,
Nice.
because I
Nice.
was so
So
honed
focused
in
on
on this. Yeah.
it.
Um, but yeah, I love this album. There's not really any down points for me.
No.
And so yeah, songs like Prison Born, Xenochrist, Legion of the Serpent, both planetary dualities. Like this album doesn't have much of a much downtime.
Is it Hideous Revelation? Is that the one that has the sound clip playing?
Yes.
The first Planetary
Yeah.
Dial. Okay, that's what I was thinking. I couldn't remember. Because that's just the sound clip and then it goes into Prophecy Fruition, right?
Well, it's a sound clip and then just that instrumental.
Is it instrumental? Okay. So it's
Yeah, it's
kind of
just
like
like da da
Aquadama,
da
basically.
da da da
Yeah,
da 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 da.
that's right. Okay. Yeah. Xeno Christ. Yeah, dude, these two albums, for me personally, there's not a low point. Solid all the way through on these two albums. Again,
There's
the
dude,
next two, something
there's some
else.
albums that like we get to listen to that I know it's like kind of rare because a lot of the ones we've talked about, like you've at least heard like some of it, or you might have like listened to one of their albums or something.
Right.
But I am jealous of like your
To
first
hear it like the
listen
first
through,
time
yeah,
of your
for these
virgin
two albums,
ears.
especially Planetary Duality. Like, oh my God. Curse, or since we're talking about this band, oh my science.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's for the next album, but
What do you think of the
Yeah.
album art?
Sick. Are you kidding me, dude? That's let's try to pull it up here again real quick so I
Like
can
looking at that and
my eyes
listening
on
to
it.
Hideous
Like,
Revelation.
yeah. Oh, come on. Just show me it. Yeah, let's see here. It's a spaceship. It's like a gigantic face of Predator when his mouth opens up.
Yep. Hmm.
But it's the ship. Nah, that's sick, man. Is there somebody standing at the bottom? I'm
That's
trying
kind
to
of what it
find a
looks like.
bigger picture, but everything's so small. That's what you said. Uh, yeah, that's why I always wondered. I think there's like at least one person down there. Ugh. Is that is it a ship or is it the alien? Like the mother, Queen Bee.
The mothership.
Well, not like a mothership, but like, you know what I'm saying, like a queen bee type thing. It's
Yeah.
like it's the mother. Take me to your mother.
All
And it's all like
mother.
"Mrr." All mother. There you go. Yeah, that's what all mother looks like.
Oh,
Oh God. Cyrus, get out of there. And that's Cyrus at the bottom.
okay.
He's seeing her true form. No, dude, these two are solid. I mean, I don't really they speak for themselves, in my what kind of like what you said on with Horse the Band. How do I paint this picture? And not
Right.
to say that I'm comparing the two bands, but just like they did it for me with these two albums. Definitely if I'm gonna recommend the Faceless to somebody, I'm recommending these two albums. And I'm saying, and that's it. That's the Faceless. That's it. You don't have to go any further because there is nothing. That's something totally that's a side project.
I
That's
can't listen. I
that's
can't listen to a
drugs,
band
kids.
like The Faceless for too long because I get back in the headspace of like, maybe I do need a seven string.
Ah,
Like, why
make it
not?
even better if it was an eight string.
I mean, if I'm gonna do it, I should do it, right?
Yeah,
You
I mean,
don't
if you're
wanna.
gonna do it, go all
Yeah.
out, bro. What more should you do? You got anything else for planetary duality?
No, I mean, this is. I'll go ahead and say it now. This is gonna be the interim
Go
point.
to
If you want to get
future.
into this band, start here, and
Work
I'm
backwards.
interested. I'm interested when you guys do after hours. How Eric's gonna feel about this.
Yeah, I was thinking about that the other day. I don't know. I am curious.
We'll see.
A part of
What's
me
your
thinks
favorite
he's
song
gonna
on the
like the
album?
second albums. That's my
Oh
fears. He's gonna
no.
be like, "Yeah, Ghost is my favorite album." Then I'm gonna say, "This episode's over."
No. No.
Man. What was your question?
Um
My favorites
the
on this
the
album?
second two albums are like if somebody made a cartoon about somebody making a band where all their lyrics were about they're atheists, you know? It's like we get it. We get
We
it.
get it. We get it. I just feel like,
It's like so much the other way that it's a bad thing. You know what I mean?
yeah. Well,
We
that's what I
talk
was gonna say.
about
It feels like
injecting
two
too
different
much.
bands.
It feels okay. So we've talked about a Christian band can be a Christian band, but you should be subtle with your lyrics. Everything shouldn't be like so in your face because then it starts to feel tacky. Like if you say the same thing over and over again, no matter what it is in relation to, it sounds tacky.
Yeah.
And that's the Faceless have gone the complete opposite way with that, where they talk about science and being atheists like so much that it's annoying as fuck and it's tacky. Like whatever you believe, I honestly don't give a fuck about it one way or the other. So it's like I yeah, I don't need the opposite version of this, you know?
I'm Michael Keane. Did you know I'm an atheist?
Do you have a moment to talk about atheism?
Right. You have a moment to talk about science?
Science can suck you off.
Let me show you how.
The robots
Meow.
told me so.
Oh man. Favorites on this album, because I think that's what you were asking me
Yeah.
earlier. I would say Xenochrist, Ancient Covenant's good, and like you were saying earlier, the opener, Prison Born. It kind of makes me think of you said something about you said you're envious, jealous of me being able to like listen to this the first time. It's kind of like what I thought of when we were doing Zayo. And they take that long hiatus. I don't remember how many years between Awake and a well-intentioned virus.
Hmm.
And I told Eric, I said, dude, I can't even imagine. This is on After Hours. It was like I can't even imagine like being in Josh's situation of like being such a big fan of this band Zayo and not having any new music for I think it was just under a decade because I think it was '09 to 2017, I think is when Well Intention came out. But anyway, but then just like finally getting a new CD. And I remember you saying you were pretty kind of nervous about like, oh, how's this gonna be, after all these years. And then just putting that in and then just hearing that riff from um dang it, what's that first song called? I can't remember. But anyway, the first song off of Well Intentioned Virus, and it's just that riff down, 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 down. You're like, okay. But then just like when they come in hard with the music and then
It's Weeping
not
Vessel.
Dan, Weeping Vessel, there you go. But then um is it
Dude, I
Dan?
could,
Dan, right?
yeah.
Yeah, Dan. When Dan comes in with those vocals, it was just, I mean, the first time I heard it, dude, I was just like, oh God, oh Lord.
Yeah, I could tell because that opening riff, like, it's like descending, you know?
Right.
And
Yeah.
even though it's like very soft and light, you can tell that there's
There's
like
something coming
about to
down the
be
tracks.
something heavy as
Yeah, like,
shit hit, you know?
oh God. See the light coming. You think it's the end of the tunnel, but it keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and then you hear the noise of the track.
And
Yeah.
that main riff through Weeping Vessel. Da
Oh
da da
God, man.
da 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 da.
Mhm.
Yeah, I
Oh,
I was
so
like,
good.
oh, we're back. We're back, boys.
We're back,
We're
baby.
back,
Oh wait,
baby.
hold on, wait a minute.
We're
That was my
back,
cue.
baby.
That was my cue. That was my cue. Where'd it go?
We're
We're
back.
back, baby. We're back.
We
Hey, we're back.
we're back.
Hey, we're
There we
back,
go.
baby. Hey. All right. All right. Yeah, that was 2008's Planetary Duality. Off the heels, Josh, of the success from their sophomore release, the band would see time on the road playing alongside such bands as Meshuggah, Lamb of God, and In Flames, also getting the chance to play in their home state at the California Metal Fest 4. Founding member bassist Brandon Giffen would depart from the band, being replaced for a short time by new bassist Jared Lander before being replaced by new bassist Evan Brewer of the band Animosity. Summer of 2010 saw the band join the Summer Slaughter Tour along such bands as Decapitated, All Shall Perish, and Decrepit Birth. Spring 2011 saw the departure of vocalist Derek Rydquist as Keane would announce on social media his replacement, Jeffrey Fico. It was at this time that guitarist Steve Jones would also leave the band, being replaced by new guitarist Wes Hotch. Feeling a sense of renewed energy with the addition of new members, the band would head back into the studio. And when I say the band, I mean Michael Keane. Head back into the studio to record their third album, 2011's Atheism. No, no, wait. Autotheism. Yeah, what's the difference? From Sumerian Records, produced once again by a boy named Michael Keane. This is the only release for new members Jeffrey Fecal on vocals, Wes Hodge on guitar, and bassist Evan Brewer, and is the last album for drummer Lyle Cooper. Here we go again. Another big turnover change, Josh. Debuting at number 50 on the Billboard 200, number 3 in the top hard rock albums, and number 13 on the top independent albums. Keane wrote Autotheism almost entirely while being the only member of the band, with the exception of the track 10 Billion Years, which was brought to the table by guitarist Wes Hodge and rewritten together between Hodge and Keane, keeping a large portion of Hodge's original arrangement with some Faceless signature elements added. Keane would also explore a more industrial influence, creating post-apocalyptic percussion sequences on many of the tracks, giving the record its distinctly dark quality. The album overall, Josh, questions the album overall, Josh, questions antiquated belief systems that are in play in current society, as well as touching upon religion. The album touches upon growth in technology at an exponential rate, the holographic universe theory, and science as a new religion, or alternatively, knowledge and reason as a reigning religion. A review from MetalStorm.net author Auntie Sahara spoke of the newest album, stating, quote, Autotheism begins, interestingly, the same way Planetary Duality finished, starting with a multiple part song rather than ending with one. The album kicks off with the three-part Autotheist movement. And right away from piano and cello of the first part, the Faceless make it quite evident that with autotheism, they're raising the bar even higher and taking no prisoners. The trilogy continues with the band's usual tightly compacted riffage, as well as an extremely interesting blend of cleans and growls from, respectively, Michael Keane and new vocalist Jeffrey Fico, who makes very little venturing into the deathcore style of the band's past. The man can throw out some intense grunts and has no qualms about letting that be known. See 10 Billion Years, Hymn of Sanity, and Emancipate in particular. Autotheism is, in essence, much, much more epic than the Faceless's previous material, the progressive elements being more prevalent than ever before. The ambient sounds add in a distinct atmosphere that really helps to accentuate the band's sci-fi / intelligent themes in a way that cannot be overestimated. The brief Hail Science interlude creates and the majestic beauty of the beginning of In Solitude. But this is not at all to say that the Faceless still don't kick it up here and there with some intensity. As I said, Jeffrey Fico is an excellent new fit with his harsh vocals, and as usual, Michael Keane proves that he's one of the most potent guitarists in tech death, with his leads notably at the end of Deconsecrates and on In Solitude. So allow me to just come out and say it. Autotheism is most likely the best album to date for the Faceless. Oh God. And really represents
What
the
a
band
fool he
coming
was.
and really represents the band coming into
Do
their
you
own like
even
never
know how
before.
stupid you sound?
It's a lot like Human for Death or Omnivium for Obscura, or even From Mars to Sirius for Gojira. That is to say,
Shut the hell up.
and that is to
Shut
say,
up.
it's
Don't bring
basically
Gojira into this. Go fuck
it's
yourself.
it's basically their watershed album, the turning point where the composition has become a lot more mature, multi-layered, and intelligent. If you're still one of those people who has a personal problem with checking out the Faceless because they used to play deathcore, then don't waste your time with this album. You should just not waste your time, period. But if you enjoyed the direction of planetary duality, that's you, Josh, and want to see that direction taken to new heights, then you need to hear autotheism. Nah, disagree. The word roughly translates to self worship, and in this case, the Faceless have indeed proven that they are worshiping the triumph of their own songwriting. Way to jack yourself off. All right, songs this album include Autotheist, Movement 1, Create, Movement 2, Emancipate, Movement 3, Deconsecrate, Accelerated Evolution, The Eidolon Reality, 10 Billion Years, Hail Science. Hymn of Sanity and the finale in Solitude. Tell me, Josh, how much you
Hail science,
love
Curtis.
it's tell me how much you
Hail
love this
science.
album, Josh. Because oh let me say something to you, Josh. This reviewer said, if you enjoyed the direction of planetary duality and want to see that direction taken to new heights, then you need to hear autotheism. Well, we've heard it. We disagree.
Yeah, he's so wrong. How often, Curtis, are we reading a review by somebody who just sounds like they were paid to write a good review for a new album by a band? It's, it's not good. Planetary duality is worlds better than autotheism. The first time I listened to this album, Curtis, I almost turned it off because you get through
Stuff.
all of
Auto
the
stuff, yeah.
autotheist movements and it's all the same.
Hmm.
It's all the same shit.
Copy paste, copy paste, copy
And
paste.
it's mostly just his clean vocals that he decided to really lean into. Not good. Spoiler, not good. Not good, Curtis. Um, After that, it does pick up a little bit. When we get to accelerated evolution, we're seeing a lot more elements of earlier Faceless. He's still peppering in a lot more clean vocals than I'd like him to, but
Amen.
you know, um, for me, the only two songs on this album I'm like, those are like good, are 10 Billion Years and Hail Science. And
Hail Science.
we talked about it a little bit, but that's probably the biggest problem. I can forgive everything else, guys. I can forgive the clean vocals. I can forgive basically just these instrumentals for the first three tracks of the album. That's a terrible way to start an album, Curtis. That's not how
Yeah,
you
not a
start an
good
album.
way to start.
That's
You
not a good
either
hook.
finish it or you put it in the middle.
Yeah, not good. Um, I lost my train of thought.
Because it feels like you're crawling into an album at that point. You should be running into an album.
Right. What was I saying right before that?
How much you love this album?
No. Oh,
Oh,
that the biggest problem with this album is the fact that it's so lyrically centered around anti-religion, pro-science, pro-atheism, essentially. I don't know if he necessarily claims to be an atheist, but uh,
right.
and what we were saying before is like you don't want to hear if a band is essentially a Christian band, or even just because we've talked about bands where okay, all the members are Christian, but we're not a Christian band. Um, but even if you are, we've talked about the subtlety in lyrics. Doesn't matter what the message is. If you say the same thing over and over and over and over, it gets so played out and tacky. Like, and they went the complete opposite direction than like super in your face Christian band. They went the complete opposite with it, and they're just gonna shove their love for science, robots, and
Science!
uh,
The
anti-religion down your throat. I get it, but it's also like too
Faceless
much
told you
of
so.
anything like that. Just sounds terrible.
Yeah,
It gets so played out.
but the Faceless
Um,
told you so.
huh?
Said, but the Faceless told you so.
Yeah, but the faceless told you so. Um, what do you think of 10 billion years in Hail Science, at least?
Well, I'm going to tell you something, Josh. I listened to this album. No, let me back up. I try to listen to these albums two times through at least
Yeah.
on any album, any band, right? Regardless if I've heard them or not. Give me a good grasp. I made it through one and maybe a quarter of this album.
You got through one
I
time and then through the autotheist movements, and you're like,
and I
I'm
was just
done.
like, "Bleh." So all right, I'm done. What else is going on? I mean,
Okay.
because like Bro, I can't do it. Because like I said earlier, this feels like to me two different bands. And I don't like it. I don't like that fact, right? Because I'm dealing with the Faceless here. And I'm not saying that you have to like be deathcore or wherever you want to categorize exactly what the first two albums are. I'm not saying you have to be that way for the entirety of your discography, but this just really feels like he has fully taken over all control of everything. Nobody else, yeah, there are other members of the band, but it didn't really feel like anybody's really contributing anything, and that really shows. And what I talked about earlier, the only thing that was contributed from another member was really the 10 Billion Years song, which came from guitarist Wes Hodge. But just like when it's him having full control, now it feels like a true like side project. Which if you want to do that, go do it over there, you know? Let
Yeah.
Faceless die, you know? Or wait a while and then have, Derek and all them come back. And we can
Well,
do it again.
that's the trouble though, man, is I feel like it's a blurred line because it became obvious, like as more time went on, that Michael Keane was the Faceless, you
Yeah,
know?
he
Like
is the
the joke
Faceless.
became that it's, you're going to see
Michael
Michael
Keane
Keane and the
and the
Faceless.
Faceless.
Like it's,
Yeah.
it's like it's his
Right.
band.
Right.
Um, so that just became more and more apparent that the Faceless aren't necessarily a band. Like it's Michael Keane.
It's now Michael Keane.
he is this band. He just has
Change the name
guys
to Michael
who
Keane then.
record with him, and sometimes
Yeah.
not even that. They tour,
Which at that
They're
point, that's what I'm saying though. It's like at that point, don't like hurt what you've already built with other guys in the past or girls, whatever. I mean, it's like let that just be and let its legacy or its name just be that. Don't try to like, well, I'm gonna go do it on my own now. I just like that is a thin line to walk, man. When you're at this point, you're just doing everything yourself in a band that used to be five guys doing it all together. You know what I mean?
right.
That is tough, man, because 99% of the time, at least for me, it's not gonna work out. So, but I don't know, man.
A god known as knowledge, Curtis, that will
Ugh.
abolish the archaic belief systems designed for those who fear their own mortality.
See, and then I read lyrics like that, and I'm just like, okay. It just sounds like somebody just like it's kind of like the lyrics on the vocoder on Akeldama. It's like this is just a dude just rambling nonsense at this point.
Right. I will say, um, much like shoot, I got too many song names going through my head. Much like Hideous Revelation, I will say that Hail Science can be a creepy as hell track in the right setting.
Okay.
Um, think of it like that Norma Jean track that has the tornado warning in it.
Oh, I was gonna say
Um, the one that has the
the
yeah. For some reason,
free
dude, like
line
some just like
heaven
isolated tones
time.
like that are
Ugh,
so like disturbing.
creepy. Yeah. What
Um,
is it? What is it
and
about those
that's
things, man?
definitely one of those, dude. The first time I remembered the first time I heard Hideous Revelation, and I was driving home, I think it was on the highway, and like middle of the night, and I've like got this CD playing, and it gets to that track with the lead in with just the feedback and the guitar, and then that interview, and I had just
Oh
cranked,
God.
and I was just like, holy shit. Kind of the same
Slap my
thing
CD.
with Hail Science. The first time I heard that, you're just like, ugh, like, oh God. The Norma
Yeah.
Jean stuff too, dude. Same thing, like
Ugh.
middle of the night. Just first time I heard that, like, I need to lock my doors.
Somebody's out there. I know they are.
Yeah.
Um,
I
I
don't know
just,
what
I
it
don't know,
is,
man.
but Norma Jean and the Faceless have figured it out in that
Right, that
aspect.
creepiness. Yeah, to me, this is where it starts to fall flat on its face. Just me. It's my opinion. Obviously, somebody else out there likes it, besides the reviewer that may or may not have been paid to like it.
I mean,
Auntie Sahara, did you really like it?
it's not nothing, but only about 69,000 monthly listeners.
To the band overall.
Yes.
What's the albums looking like?
Um, yeah, see, and this is weird, man. It's like really, really scattered. Like, because it gives you a breakdown on like which cities and stuff.
Yeah.
But Chicago is the highest with like 1,000 monthly listeners, and then it just goes down from there.
Ooh.
Album wise, let me go back. I mean, the first two still would have been during mainly CD times, and I
Right, but I
had
will say
Autotheism
this.
also on CD.
I will say this though, Josh. Planetary Duality, there is only one song underneath 1 million views. Whereas Akeldama, there's only one song over 1 million views.
Right, but 2006, bro.
Right, I know, but I'm saying
I had
2006
a
and
six
2008
CD
though.
changer in my car in
Right.
2006.
Yeah. With autotheism, it starts out hot. You go 5 million, 2 million, 1.8, 1.1, 1 million, 800,000, 400,000. And
Yeah,
then it jumps back up to 1 million. Then it finishes out on 700,000. And then Ghost, which was 2017. Let's see, 500,000, 1.3, 1.7, 900,000, 1.6, 700,000, 500,000, 300,000, 400,000, 300,000.
very
So it's a little
low.
bit of a wave, but
Um, I'll say this. We disagreed with some of the choices that were made over these last couple albums, but his skill has never wavered,
his
Curtis.
musicianship as a
Is
guitarist is great. Yeah,
undeniable. Have you
there's
ever
no
watched any of his
denying
like
that.
guitar playthroughs or
No, I have
anything?
not. No, I
Brother,
should though. I'll take
it
some time
is
to do that.
otherworldly.
Yeah, I
Like
do not.
just
Yeah, I don't write him off on that,
because
but
you would think somebody this good is probably cleaning up,
right,
But dude, he's on another level.
right. Yeah, I'll
Um,
definitely give him that for sure.
yeah, definitely check out some of his guitar playthroughs, or like he do demos at like different guitar conventions, just like promoting different guitars and stuff. But yeah, just ugh.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. Alrighty, that is 2012's Autotheism. Taken to the road in support of their newest album, the band, or Michael, would be invited to return to the Summer Slaughter Tour 2012 alongside heavyweight bands Cannibal Corpse, Between the Buried and Me, and Periphery. It would be announced at the beginning of 2013 that drummer Lyle Cooper would depart the band, citing the goals of the band did not align with his. I translate that as drugs versus no drugs, Josh. But that's just me. Soon he would be
Perhaps
replaced. Soon he would be replaced by the harp machine drummer Alex Rudinger. After more touring throughout 2013 and 14, or no, out throughout 2013, 2014 would bring more member changes as guitarist Wes Hotch would announce his departure from the band as Michael Keane would once again say, "Fine, we don't need you. I'll do both guitars, clean vocals, and keys myself." The hits, Josh, would keep on coming as the end of 2014 saw the departure of both bassist Evan Brewer and new drummer Alex Rundinger, who would pursue other projects, while Jeffrey Fico on vocals would choose to follow suit later in the year, leaving Michael Keane as the one, the only, the Faceless. 2015, though, Josh, would see a rebuild of a lineup with the addition of the Zenith Passage guitarist Justin McKinney, followed by the return of founding member Brandon Giffen on bass and vocalist Derek Rydquist, and the addition of new drummer Chasen Westmoreland. Like, okay, I was a little interested when you bring back, obviously it's just the bases, but you bring back, founding member Brandon Giffen and even vocalist Derek Rydquist. It's like, okay, what are we gonna do here? Let's see what we end up with. Okay. Well, with this lineup, Josh, the band would release a new single, The Spiraling Void, which would end up showing up on their next album. But Josh, just as the good times were beginning again, both bassist Brandon Giffen and Derek Rydquist would leave the band, leaving Michael Keane to react again by saying, "Fine, I don't need you. I'll do guitar, clean vocals. Well, I can't really do unclean vocals, but I'll do bass and keys myself. You just watch. I'm gonna make it big." And drugs. But all comedy aside, Josh, vocalist Derek Rydquist, would actually lead the band on good terms, unlike most of the others, even lending his vocals for several songs that would appear on their next album, The Spiraling Void, Shake the Disease, and I Am. As Keane would state, quote, "Derek will always have a place in the Faceless, be it just recording or occasional appearances." To the surprise of fans, Rydquist wouldn't be replaced by a nobody. Instead, Josh, he would be replaced by Abigail Williams founder Ken Sorceron Bergeron on vocal.
Ooh.
Nice. The new lineup would perform on the Summer Slaughter Tour in 2017 while also preparing to release their next album, 2017's In Becoming a Ghost, from Sumerian Records, produced once again by a boy named Michael Keane, and is the only album, Josh, for vocalist Ken Sorceron, guitarist Justin McKinney, and Chasen Westmoreland on drums. Not a good sign yet again. This album debuted at number 66, Josh, on the Billboard 200. A review of the band's latest album from metalinjection.com would state, quote, "Between dropping off tours and not putting out a new album for years, the Faceless have found themselves at the brunt of many jokes. Getting tossed in with the likes of Tool and Necrophagist, many folks were starting to think that the band would never get around to putting out another record. But here we are, 5 years later, and the band has officially released their fourth studio album, In Becoming a Ghost. When it comes to such highly anticipated releases that have taken years to come out, one fear immediately comes to mind. Will it be any good after all this time? In Becoming a Ghost is the first record to include the joint powers of Michael Keane, Justin McKinney, Ken Sorceron Bergeron. Oh, that's it. It's in this version of the Faceless where the band have crafted their tightest musicianship within their career. The band includes various levels of technicality throughout the album, presenting a well-balanced composition that is heavy and entertaining. Throughout the album's 10 tracks comes a spread of sounds and styles that do a superb job of keeping the energy consistently interesting. Both vocalists exude a dark and poetic nature to their voices, Sorceron providing the brutality and Keane bringing in the emotion. After a chilling introduction, the album begins with Digging the Grave. The track erupts with a flurry of drum beats, the guitar flying away in flourishes of dissonant tones. Towards the end of the song, there comes this segment of blast beats and alien-like vocals that cry with insanity. Although altogether, this song makes for a stellar opening, ending things with a playful flute progression that flies alongside blasting drums and rampant guitar work. Black Star and The Spiraling Void both provide a great energy to the album. Each song displays a range of melodic elements and vocal patterns that add a cosmic atmosphere to their structure. The guitar in Black Star rides to a colorful rhythm as the bass pumps away, with the drumming and vocals of The Spiraling Void ranging in their technicality. The guitar and the spiraling void shifts and with various inflections, presenting a range of sounds that are radiant and dark. Cup of Mephistopheles begins with a minimal lingering that looms with a somber aura. Keen's vocals are haunting as he sings the lines, "Nothing affects me, no one to rush me when I'm laying in my 6 feet hole." The song bursts into a dark, theatrical flow, dropping bits of gothic flavoring into the sound. The drumming rips with black metal style, adding a cold emotion to the work. The track rings with sinister appeal, offering strong Abigail Williams vibes thanks to the shredding guitar and Sorceron's vocals. Shake the Disease is actually a Depeche Mode cover and makes for an entertaining track. The instrumentals shift from creepy tones to a more upbeat carnival-like brightness. In particular, Keen's vocals introduce this really stunning effect that is both powerful and elegant. The only weird moment in the record is an interlude that comes towards the end. It's really short. Well, I just lost my spot. It's really short and doesn't add anything to the album. That being said, this one moment doesn't hurt the overall record. After 5 long years and with numerous lineup changes and other speed bumps along their journey, the Faceless is able to come together and craft an excellent work of art. The record offers a range of emotion through its instrumental and vocal technicality. In Becoming a Ghost is a magnificent work of sinister mysteries and pure artistry. With the release of In Becoming a Ghost, the Faceless prove that they haven't lost anything after all these years, but have only grown, displaying astonishing musicianship. Songs in this album include In Becoming a Ghost, Digging the Grave, Black Star, Cup of Mephistopheles, The Spiraling Void, Shake the Disease, the Depeche Mode cover, I Am, Ghost Reprise, Instrumental Illness, and the finale, The Terminal Breath. Great. I will say this, Josh. They got me with the album artwork. For me, the album artwork is always the first thing you see. It's your intro, right? And then I turned it on.
Yes.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good. I was kind of thinking, kind of taking a pause. And then I turned it on and I thought, me personally, they did not do justice to the artwork.
No.
Because I love the album artwork, dude. I love it. It's a great one. Not so much the music.
No, this album they decide they're gonna do a bunch of like mid-song interludes on like every other song.
Right.
I would love to hear this album with the vocals ripped out just as an instrumental. I think that would be nice.
Probably good, yeah.
I feel like Black Star instrumentally is an amazing song. Even vocally, it's not too bad. There's some kind of annoying parts, but for the most part, I'm like, what the hell is this album? This
Okay.
is what I got to imagine, Curtis, that heroin sounds like.
If you mic'd heroin up, real quick, because I couldn't remember if it was on this album or the one before, and I was thinking it was on Autotheism, and I should have said it earlier, but I forgot to. We didn't even talk about the saxophone on Deconsecrate. You
Oh
remember
yeah,
that?
yeah. And then there's like a flute and some other
Yeah,
stuff on
dig.
Digging the
Ugh.
Grave.
Not
Yeah,
what I expect. I was not expecting. That was not on my bingo card, Josh, of the Faceless.
no.
So, no, was not expecting that, and did not enjoy it either.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't like this super
I
experimental album. This should
no,
be a let's get back to our roots album because we've got all the guys to do it.
right, exactly.
You could have
But
pumped
you
out
didn't,
Listen to
did
the
you?
Color here, but you didn't.
But you didn't, did you? No, I
You
mean, I
just
didn't like the
pumped out a
last one.
Portals.
Oh, jeez. I didn't like the last one. So what did they think that was gonna like make me change my mind on this one? You know?
Right. Well, I mean, I think that's just the direction he's trending because, like we said, by this point, he's become the
I
faceless.
am the
He is.
faceless.
He's one with the faceless.
Somebody walks into the
So,
studio and they're like, Michael's not here. It's just me, the Faceless. Oh God.
Yeah.
You will call me the Faceless now. Okay. Faceless. Mr. Faceless.
Mr. Faceless. Mr. the
Mr.
Faceless.
Faceless. Mr. the Faceless. Yeah. I don't
Yeah,
mean what
overall,
more can you really say about this one, man?
just a disappointment.
Yeah. And we'll talk about it here at the end of the episode, but in recent, weeks, months or whatever, I think it was last month, he's come out and said that he's writing new music. He's trying to get things together for a new album.
Ugh.
Yeah, I'm
See,
just
dude,
like, but where
and
are we going?
I bought this one hoping
What a
when it
waste of
came
money.
out that we might be getting back to some planetary duality, but no.
We got further away.
Yeah, we're just going further away now.
Or in some people's minds, they took it to a new level, which to
This was a
us was they
really
took it even
disappointing
further in the
album.
basement. Yeah.
Just sad.
I just like I can't get over the fact that like with the album artwork though, dude. Like the album artwork was so
Like, what a
sick.
waste. What a
What a
waste.
waste, man. What a waste. Look at this. What a waste of a good background, man. What a
Yeah.
waste of a good album artwork.
Somebody could have done something
I
with
almost
that.
think kind
Somebody
of
much
like
better.
Maylene vibes, kind of like with the
Oh,
a little
man.
bit. That would have been
Maylene
sick.
5. How great would that have been?
Woo! Woo! Yeah. Womp womp. Oh well. We're
Sad.
just two ghosts. Yeah. All right. That was
I don't
2017's
like the
and
way this
Becoming a
looks behind me.
Ghost. Why?
You
Oh,
can't
just
see
because
the
of the
top of
overall.
it. It looks a little clanny.
Uh, is there a point at the top or is it rounded over? Who knows,
We
man?
don't
Who
know, but
knows?
it has
We
connotations.
don't what the heck is that? Oh, don't click on that one. Okay, never mind. I almost clicked on the other background that I had up earlier. I forgotten I had it and I was looking, I was like, what is that thing? And I almost clicked on it.
What did you think about the little 8-bit part in Cup of Mephistopheles?
Yeah, I'll leave that stuff to Horse the Band.
Yeah, they have no business doing that.
You have
Dude,
no business here.
when we were doing Horse the Band and we're talking about Arsonist Get All the Girls, and I brought up how I can't believe we didn't mention Inner Shikari, you
Hmm.
know? And then also another one that came to mind was I can't believe we never talked about I Set My Friends on Fire.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's
Yeah.
another huge one in
That's
that
another
vein,
one.
you know?
Yeah, that's true. Put it on the
Nuts.
list. Put it on the list. Before the release of In Becoming a Ghost, drummer Chasen Westmoreland would leave the band, being replaced by new drummer Bryce Butler. With the new album out, the band's fans were excited to hear the new tunes live, but just 3 months after release, another massive lineup shift would occur as vocalist Ken Sorceron would leave the band, followed only hours, Josh, later by guitarist Justin McKinney and new drummer Bryce Butler, leaving Michael Keane as the sole member of the band once again. Keane would take to social media to explain the changes in the future, saying, quote, "Let me begin by saying, naturally, there are two sides to every story, and if you knew the events that transpired and the betrayal and disrespect I've received in the past few months, your jaw would hit the floor. It's a miracle I'm still standing. Band-Aid. Uh, Next, just let me tell you that this is honestly a fantastic thing for the Faceless. Not only the morale, but the music and show. This year's touring cycle is going to be a pleasure, and it's going to be a Faceless show like you've never seen before." Oh, mark those words. I cannot wait for everyone to see it. Also, the confirmed players I'm working with are absolute animals, and I'm honored to have them working with me. We're going to have a blast, many exciting announcements in the coming weeks. Now, naturally, Josh, this did not sit well with former member Justin McKinney, who quickly responded in the comment section, quote, "Here you go again, shifting blame away from yourself and towards the last 18 people who have quit the band. Stealing money from the band, stealing money from fans, telling fans the reason why you can't play your guitar is because of me being nervous, not because of your heroin addiction and the fact that you've never practiced. Backtracking your solo and spiraling, getting the band's equipment sold from your storage unit from non-payment, and using the money from Faceless manager EJ Shannon sent you to pay for the unit was used to buy heroin. Getting so high that you can't even make flights on time. Yeah, we sure betrayed you, dude.
Oh my God.
Rough, rough. While arranging a new lineup, Keane would plan to honor the 10-year anniversary of the Faceless's sophomore release, Planetary Duality, by playing it in its entirety. This is about to get worse, Josh, because unfortunately things would go wrong as the set on June 10th, 2018 at the Bay Area Death Fest would be met with harsh criticism as the group would arrive late to their set while only playing 5 songs. Sound familiar, Josh?
Yeah, I only got four.
Yeah, you got one extra one, man. One would
You
hope
guys were
that
lucky.
something, right? One would hope that something like this would wake a person up to seek help for themselves, which Keane said he was taking action towards. But fast forward 4 years after the events at Bay Area Death Fest, and Keane would once again bring himself and the Faceless into the spotlight for the wrong reasons. At a headlining show in Los Angeles, California, before setting up the band's gear, Keane would grab the mic and began rambling on incoherently to the crowd, eventually being convinced by his then touring drummer Aaron Steckhahner to get off the stage and get himself together. Aaron would proceed to play drum fills for a period of time until Keane would get around to setting up the band's instruments for their sets, which took place 2 hours after they were supposed to play, as concert goers later described Keane as being definitely on something. I mean, how low do you have to stoop to where it's like your drummer has to go up there and just play drum fills for like 2 hours until you get ready?
Hey guys. Whoa, what do you think about that?
Here we
Where are you
go.
guys from? Where are you from over there?
Somebody says something. Dun, dun, tss. All right. Anybody know Wipeout? We have any requests? No, none. Okay. Play some Faceless. Okay. Yeah, this not good, man. Not good. Unfortunately for Keane, it seems he was continuing to struggle with his inner demons. Strangely enough, though, Josh, just a day after that incident in LA, Keane would take to social media to announce a new full-time vocalist, James Dorden, formerly of Black Crown Initiate, as if nothing went wrong the day before. And then my question is, who would choose to like join this sideshow circus right now, Josh? As a
Right.
full-time member, you
It's
know.
got to be some people that are down on their luck. You know, some guys who've either been
Well,
kicked out of these bands
I
or
mean, either that or somebody who's into the same stuff he's into.
that's true. Yeah.
He's like, well, I need a job. Ah, man, I'm sorry, I'm trying to go through some stuff right now. I've got drugs. All right, come on.
Yeah. All right. Come on in. Come on in.
There I go. Yeah. After taking some, quote, much needed time off, Keane would announce in December of 2024 that he was in the process of writing slash recording new music for the Faceless. So who knows what we're gonna get here, man? I mean, I don't expect to hear some, you know, Akeldama planetary duality type stuff. I'm pretty sure he's probably going to continue on the same path that we saw on autotheism and becoming a ghost, you know.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, for us, unfortunately. I mean, someone
Yeah.
out there probably will enjoy it, but
Somebody
we
likes
probably
this. Not
won't.
me, but somebody does.
Right. Your current lineup right now is James Dorden on vocals and Michael Keane on everything.
Woo!
Final thoughts, Josh, on the band known as The Faceless.
Started great, ended real bad.
Did not end the way we wanted it to, man.
It's one of those
Not
how
at
it
all.
started and how it go how it's going.
Yeah, how it's going.
Yeah.
All right.
Not
Well,
good. Not good.
and
I mean, I'll listen to the new one when it comes out. We'll
yeah,
see.
well,
But
we will because they're now part of the History of the Chorus family, and we're basically entitled to review all new albums to keep up with, bands we've already covered. So yeah, should be fun.
I look
We guess.
forward to it.
This is me smiling. Alrighty, Josh. Well, guess it's that time to get on out of here.
You will witness what happens here today, and you will tell of it later.
Just remember
Dangling
that.
your balls over a trash can?
What?
Okay.
Not the rest of it. Oh my God.
That was not supposed to happen.
Wow. Okay.
I got betrayed. I've lost my privilege.
Okay.
All right, let's do it. Just make sure I get that out of the way before, I mess something up here. Okay, anyway, make sure to follow us on Twitter at InSurviveByPro for news and the latest episode postings, not just on this show, but our other shows as well. We have the History of the Chorus After Hours podcast, where I sit down with my good friend and avid listener of this very podcast, Eric, and we discuss some of the bands me and Josh have already discussed. We also have the Red Right Hand podcast, which has covered all 6 seasons, and eventually the movie The Peaky Blinders, The Immortal Man. We also have the Throne of the Dragon podcast, which has covered season 1, season 2, eventually season 3, and season 4 of HBO's House of the Dragon. But in summer 2025, season 1 of HBO's A Night of the Seven Kingdoms.
Did you see George R. R. Martin issued something that said it was the most faithful adaptation of a story that a writer could hope for? I
Ooh,
believe that was his exact words.
that's oh, oh man, I'm getting some tingling feelings.
So yeah, and I think
That's
you're
pretty
really
cool.
gonna enjoy this story, Curtis. It's
I
like a
think
much
so.
more simplified story in the middle of a lot of bigger intrigue in Westeros. But, we hear talk about major events that
Right.
happened or may
Little
be
Easter eggs.
happening, but
Yeah.
this is just about a man trying to make his way out there.
A man and a bald child.
Yep.
That's what this story is about.
Yeah.
So,
That's the
uh,
American story,
it's
Curtis.
the American story. That's the American dream right there.
Oh God.
We also oh God. We also have in the vein of Throw the Dragon podcast, we'll be doing our readings here soon in April. Things we're going to start that to get prepared for season 1 of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. But before that, we're doing some character profiles right now. We'll actually have one coming up this next week. Who's that on, Josh?
Beric Dondarrion, the Lightning Lord.
The Lightning Lord. Ah! It's like lightning's supposed to hit his sword.
Ah!
I am Dundarian! All right. That guy's pretty cool. I want to hang out with him. Also, while you're on Twitter, make sure to follow my co-host at Joshua Lynn Gary. Make sure to leave us a 5-star review and write us a comment on whatever podcast service you're using. And if you want to listen to us and see our smiling faces, head on over to our YouTube page or Spotify page. Just search Is Survive By Productions, and that'll have every episode from all of our shows. Subscribe to the channel, thumbs up the video. All right. Till the next episode, Josh, of the History of the Chorus podcast, where we're taking a look at a little band known as We Came as Romans. We'll see you.